Silence, please. We are back.
We are the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East.
We are back. We are the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East. We are ready. All together.
We are the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East.
We're back.
We are back with the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East. Back to back after round 3 in Abu Dhabi. We say hello now to round 4. We are at the Dubai Autodrome and we are heading into the qualifying. 19 cars are ready for racing this weekend again. And after 2 intensive days of testing, we are ready for racing. And of course, we're ready with the head and promoter next to me, Robert Lechner. Robert, great that you're here again. And cheers,
Hi,
mate.
Eric.
And just great to see 24 degrees here in Dubai, and we're ready for racing again.
Absolutely. Hi, everyone, and hi, everyone back home following us online via our live stream. So very warm welcome here at Dubai Autodrome to everyone, to all the drivers, teams, all members who have done a great job moving everything after round 3 that took place a week ago at Abu Dhabi Yas Marina circuit. Come here, start testing again for 2 days, setting up again. And here we are, Saturday, just ahead of qualifying 1 for sprint race number 1 this afternoon. And it's going to be exciting. We saw last weekend, Eric, we saw at Yas Marina, the lap times were really close. Lots of battles throughout the field in all categories, from our Pro-Am to our AM category.
And yeah, for those who did not see the qualifying from Abu Dhabi, it was the Sunday qualifying for the Sunday race. It was, yeah, less than a blink of an eye. It was 1,000th of a second that made pole position for, yeah, the man who's really fighting for the title this season. And we will see that fight again today, I'm quite sure, between Ariel Levy and Harry Jones.
Yeah, absolutely. We have perfect conditions here. The track is already in set. Championship standings, as you can see now, overall championship leader Ariel Levy for Team Huber Racing, 184 points.
And we have to say, Harry Jones, he's on 5th position, the man who grabbed pole position. But we have to mention he was not competing in the second round in Bahrain, so he's lacking some points from that event.
Absolutely, but a very international grid again. Just look at the flags. We have 14 nations. That's super exciting, and it shows that the Middle East region, as we all know, is so international. We are happy and proud of that, of course. And I can't wait to see qualifying now. The drivers are already sitting in the car. It's getting hot in those cars, especially now with 24 degrees outside temperature. It's going to be really warm inside.
And I think we should talk about the fact that we have a back-to-back race, and that's quite exhausting for everyone involved. I mean, for the teams, mechanics, and also for you as an organizer of the series.
I mean, it's I would call it the high season of the championship. We have the 2 weekends back-to-back. We stay in the UAE, which is great logistically. And then also Abu Dhabi is really close to Dubai, so putting everything by road from one track to the other. That's the only thing, the only time we really do that in the season, because normally logistically we always need to go on a boat trip, really. And therefore, yes, it's a great team effort. On another, I would say, on another great team effort, we need to highlight Team Saudi Racing. They had like a week ago, Saturday qualifying, exactly a week ago for the race at Abu Dhabi. We saw Khalid Al-Ahmadi having a huge crash after losing his car under braking, and a great team effort by everyone involved. So I want to shout out a big thank you to everyone.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Great effort for the Saudi team. I think it took 11 hours to rebuild the car, and it was Khaled Al-Ahmadi who missed also the 2 days of testing. And we spoke with him after free practice because for sure he's happy that the team made it and he's ready to compete today. So let's hear him. Khaled Al-Ahmadi, finally you made it to the racetrack. How happy are you that the car is ready now for racing?
Yeah, I'm so glad that the car is back now, finally. Basically my baby for the season. And I was actually speechless this morning. I mean, the guys did an amazing job, the mechanics, the engineers, to bring it back in one piece. And overnight, to do this, it was really amazing. So I can't thank them enough. So I'm really excited, really pumped up to be back on the racetrack. And it's the new layout as well. I've driven here on the GP layout, and now this is the new international layout. So it's been fun. First practice session of the weekend was done now, and there's definitely a lot to learn.
Yeah, but of course you're lacking experience now because all the others had 2 intensive days of testing. So how will you manage to be competitive today?
Well, we'll obviously build up our pace. It's the same case every weekend. We don't go rushing for pace. The pace is there. We just have to build it up, baby steps. But obviously, I am a competitive person, so I'm not going to let that 2 days of testing take over on me, basically. So I'll just use the circumstances that I have and do all my best.
So what is the plan for quali?
Well, push and do whatever you can, and let's hope for the best.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you. Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Good luck later on. Yeah, so this was Khaled Al-Ahmadi after free practice. And Robert, I also spoke to Paul Spooner, the team manager of the Saudi racing team. And he said, like, well, it's some kind of training day for him today. Just not to put too much pressure on him after he missed the test sessions. So, yeah. Will be exciting to see what Khaled Al-Ahmadi is able to do today in qualifying.
Yeah, Paul Spooner, very experienced man. I've known him for over 20 years and very experienced also here in the region, working with his team Saudi Racing, the championship winning team from last season with Fahad Al-Ghazaibi, the champion. And yeah, we have Khaled Al-Ahmadi, our GT4 champion from last year, stepping up to GT3. That's also great in this team, where we see beautiful pictures out of the pit lane. It's great to see that young drivers, young talents are not just found and guided, but also promoted. And therefore, Paul Spooner is the right man. And for sure, going to race in Saudi Arabia for our final at the end of the season, together with F1 on the big stage, the big platform. For sure, it's a highlight for everyone. As we see Saud Al Saud here.
His teammate.
Yeah, he was in GT4 as well last year.
They were competing against each other.
Yeah.
With the better end for Khaled Al-Ahmadi, who grabbed the title in the GT4 last season.
But also Saud had wins in GT4, and it was very close. And most important, it was always respectful and fair racing. This is basically what we as a championship organizer do wish for everyone. We're super neutral, so therefore it's most important that everyone has a clean, a fair race, a respectful race. But of course, you know, I said it also in the driver's briefing. I said there are things that we cannot predict or things that we cannot work on, and definitely driver behavior, driver standards. Once the lights go out, or on a race director decisions, any steward decisions, they are totally out of our control, out of any control really. And so unfortunately we saw that crash in qualifying, which was a driver mistake, as Khalid admitted, but also we have seen some other battles and crashes in the race, which for sure was not happening on purpose, but also that's not really what we hope to see today in qualifying or later on in the race.
And we saw the race today will be 4:30, that's local time, so in Europe it will be 1:30. We are 3 hours ahead. We see Ahmed bin Gamen, some kind of substitute this season, but yeah, looks like he's quite relaxed.
Yeah, in the number 8 car, he has a very experienced teammate on his side. In the number 7 car with Banda Al-Essay, a race winner, also last year winning, in last year's season, winning the Jeddah home race. So yeah, it's a very strong team, a lot of talent in that team, and it's also the biggest team here entering 4 cars on the grid.
Yeah, and for sure, Banda, you spoke about him, he's longing for that first victory in this season. So yeah, we will see if he can manage it maybe here in Dubai. We also have some new drivers joining the series. There's a man from Sweden who is, we can say, a comeback man because he raced here a few years ago. His name is Christopher Bergström. He will be in the car with the number 42.
It's good to see him back, Christopher, and big welcome from everyone at Lechner Racing, from the organization, of course. He's been here in the Middle East. He's been racing with us for really long and also long time back. So this weekend, actually, and I told him yesterday also during driver's briefing or after driver's briefing, that Sunday's race, basically tomorrow's race, will mark race number 50 for him in the region. So big shout out and congrats to him. 5-0, that's a big number. And I wish him good luck, of course, and glad to have him back.
And of course, we had the chance to have a little chat with him this morning after free practice. And let's hear what he said about his comeback so far. Christopher Bergström, we've seen the free practice session this morning, and let me ask you, how is it to be back in the championship after quite some years?
That's fantastic. With a new car, I've never sat in it before until I arrived here, so I had 2 days testing, so I feel fine. The speed is so good, so I'm pleased, and we're going to put new tires on for the quali soon, so I've been running on used tires a lot, but it's fantastic to be back.
So what is the target in the Pro-M class in qualifying? I mean, we know it's a very competitive class.
It is. If I compare to what I did on new tires and used tires, I can have a chance to be a bit up than I am now. So I'm looking forward for the quali.
And I could imagine the conditions are just wonderful today. It's sunny, not too hot. Must be good conditions.
It's amazing. The light and the bright light today is comparing to the other day. So I'm looking forward for the whole day, and tomorrow is a race too. So I'm very happy to be here and practicing.
Good luck for the quali.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, for sure. Good luck for Christopher Bergström, and we are ready and go green for the qualifying as we see Ariel Levy, the man from Israel, 22 years old, and he's leading in the pro class, so the overall class, and we expect again a tough battle between him, Harry Jones, and maybe Ghislaine Godel, the man from Belgium, who was really strong so far in the practice sessions. As we see also a new man since Abu Dhabi from China joining the series, warming up his tires. Behind him it's Jan Dober from the team GP Elite with that classy livery, the car with the number 25. He's competing in the AM class. But I think, Robert, we can say that, yeah, we expect again, we have to say it again, really tough fighting in the Pro-Am class. It's the biggest class in the field, and the competition is just amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. We've seen that throughout the whole season. And again, as Khalid has mentioned in his interview part, we're using the layout of the international circuit here at Dubai Autodrome, which is a 4.29 kilometers, so nearly 4.3 kilometers, which is about 1 kilometer shorter than the Grand Prix circuit, for example, we used last year, or that is used during the 24-hour races here, so that's a 5.39, which means lap times will be really close together, qualifying also mega important. And as always, it's also important to warm up the tires and brakes, as we see here now by Shu or Zhou, man from China, in front of Jan Dober. So getting the temperature in the car, filling the tires, and also trying to find a good and a clean spot on track. Slipstream is not so important here. It's more important to be alone, on your own, and can really focus on the 12 corners here, which basically is the layout of the international circuit, like 20 minutes away from Jumeirah Beach. And therefore, yeah, a bit of holiday feeling, I would say.
The fastest lap from Ariel Levy in free practice was a 1:37.767. So this as a first benchmark for the qualifying.
Yeah, we follow Jan Dober, our AM champion from last year. He's really in great shape together with his team GP Elite, very experienced team with his instructor Christian, but also they have Larry Tenforde, the two-time Super Cup champion in the pit garage. So lots of data, lots of, I would say, analysis and also advices. So that definitely helps. This year GP Elite here with 4 cars. So for a long time they are a part or an important part here in the Middle East for our championship. And I must say, I really like that livery, that number 25 classic Porsche 911 GT3 livery. For me, is a very beautiful car.
And you mentioned the coaches. We also have Christopher Zöchling here with us. He's taking care of Bashar Madini, also in the Pro-Am class, a car from Huber Racing, a man who's fighting for the title in the Pro-Am class this season. And Christopher will be joining me for the race this afternoon. He will be here with me in the commentator's booth.
We have Christian Engelhardt. Big shout out to him as well. So 2 pro drivers with Christopher and Christian. And Florian Janitz, a driver we have already seen on the podium this year. Not to forget a winner.
Harry King. We have also Harry King with us.
A 2-times winner already for at round 1 for the Porsche Sprint Challenge this season.
Together with Alex Malikan. And I can tell you something, Christopher Zöchling was in the car yesterday morning and he was quite on a fast lap, and Harry King stood next to me and he was faster than Harry. So he said to me, he must be on new tires, but he wasn't. And then he said like, he's annoyingly quick.
Yeah, Christopher is quick and he's living in Dubai and he's knowing that track inside out, he's knowing the cars inside out, while we see Günther Benninger from Austria in the 56 911. So great to have him for the first time, the very first time here in Dubai at as part of the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East. He's a racer in the Porsche Sprint Challenge in Central Europe. So he's really enjoying it. He's in our AM category, which is basically those cars, which means those cars are allowed to run with ABS and traction control. Let me quickly explain. All other cars, or in general, Cup cars in the Super Cup, or like in the German Carrera Cup, are not allowed to use ABS and traction control. So that is why our pro drivers, for example, they all want to train for racing in Europe in summertime. They don't need and they don't want ABS and traction control, because basically that's not what they're here for. But in the AM category, with Mark J. Thomas as our leader in the championship standing right now.
But we're seeing the leader in the Pro-Am class right now. This is Georgi Donchev, the man from Bulgaria. He's leading in front of Bashar Madini and Salman Al-Khalifa.
He's the fastest car out there right now. So it's a good reason to follow him in the number 4 car. He's exactly like I just said. He's also here with his team Huber Racing, and he's training and preparing for the Porsche Carrera Cup in Germany, the championship that was won by Huber Racing last year with their factory driver, or let's say Porsche Junior Laurin Heinrich, who became a driver champion in the German Carrera Cup, and Huber Racing as a team, they became the team champions. So they are joining again this year. I say again because Christoph was involved in the organization many years back, so it's good to see him now as a team principal and a team owner with his own team. So good to have him back. And they're also entering 4 cars. So next to GP Elite, it's Huber Racing. So it's good we see more teams coming in from Europe, and hopefully also one day from Australia, from China, or elsewhere.
Yeah, as we have already drivers from China and Australia. We mentioned for sure Harry Jones, who will be also competing in Europe in the Porsche Super Cup this season. He's for sure glad to have that prep here in the Middle East.
It's so important to use those perfect conditions, great venues. All our tracks like Bahrain F1 track, Abu Dhabi F1 track, Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit and F1 track. So yes, it's definitely great to collect a lot of experience and track time. And at the moment, Eric, we see 6 cars out, so we're still 22 minutes to go, so plenty of time left. Of course, many drivers are still waiting for the track to clear up and basically for some other drivers to put some rubber on the track to ensure the extra grip that is needed for braking, for acceleration. Yeah, we see Harry King here looking at the screen. And what is Georgi or Gorgi Donchev is doing is sector 1 is a 38.8. So he just is going to improve his personal lap time, I guess. At the moment he's leading.
But we don't see the pro drivers so far out on track. And what we've experienced in Abu Dhabi is that it can be risky to wait too long in qualifying. Maybe you got the perfect or the best conditions on track, but Khaled Al-Ahmadi, we see him right now.
That's good
He caused the red flag for qualifying, and then it became really difficult for all competitors to set a good time.
You're absolutely right, and as you just said, sometimes it's not always the best thing to do, and it's not always wise to wait until the end of a session. But so good to see him and his car going around. So again, well done to everyone who did that night shift. You need to know the car came in late. Everyone at Porsche Motorsport, they opened up and sent one chassis, basically via Leipzig and our global logistics partner DHL. They ensured that this car will be here. So a chassis, a rolling chassis. In the meantime, the team around Saudi Racing, the team around Paul Spooner, Sigi Müller and Thomas Koch, and I can mention all of them, but they did a great job to prepare that car.
And I can tell you something. We did some time lapse tonight in the workshop when they rebuilt the car. We have these images later on the race, and it's just amazing when you see what the mechanics did tonight.
So I can't wait to see those pictures, and please everyone join us later on for the live stream with Eric and Christopher Zöchling as our expert and co-commentary. Oh yeah. We see Günther having a bit of oversteer here, so that's the tight part of the track, the infield. That's also where the lap time is. But it's also good to see him enjoying his weekend so far.
And he's holding up the Austrian flag, as we don't have Leo Willard with us. Maybe he's listening now, so we say hello to Leo, who was competing last weekend in Abu Dhabi, but now it's another man from Austria. And this is Christopher Backström. We talked about him earlier on, the man from Sweden. We had in the championship there was like a Swedish driver lineup. It's good to see the guys from Scandinavia coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a man from China leading, a man from Bulgaria in P2 right now, a man from Sweden, P3, Günther Benninger in P4 from Austria, and Khalid in his newly built up car from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia on P5, Jan Tober for the Netherlands, P6, and so on. So I think it's getting more and more busy on track with 18 minutes remaining, so plenty of time left. But again, I guess the last 10 minutes really will be the showdown here for the best grid positions and the best starting positions later on for race 1 this afternoon.
And for sure, we're waiting for the pro drivers with Ghislaine Gordel. We're waiting for Harry Jones, Ariel Levy, and Bandar Al-Isai.
Also Alex Malikin still in the bits. Yeah, that will be a tough pro-am battle, as you always say, Eric, with Pasha Madini, Alex Malikin, Gorgi Donchev already putting in a lap of a 38.7. If I compare it to his lap time in the free practice, it was a 38.4. So that means, yes, he already went 3/10 faster around that track himself. So I also expect something to come from his end.
So this is the man from China.
Yes, Yuang Shu, he did faster than he did. So his personal best time of a 38.4 compared to the free practice of a 39.2. So he improved by 8/10. So well
Seems
done.
like he's happy so
Yeah,
far.
well done. He's already taking the helmet off, so that's a good sign. He has done his program. It's in the books. His lap time is there. and the name is on top of the timing screen right now. So I hope we have somebody watching from China, and I guess they can be very proud.
Purple first sector for him. This is Georgi Donchev again. As we said, the man who is leading in Pro-M class. And who is second so far in this qualifying. Quite experienced man. He also raced the Carrera Cup in Germany. And
yeah, he collected a lot of trophies already and podiums there. It's for sure a good thing to do here for him to train over the winter time, and once he's back in Germany. Imagine while all other drivers don't race and stop driving basically. People coming from the Middle East, and so also the team will be in the full swing, in the full rhythm. And here we see the Team Bahrain car, the number 27 of Salman bin Rashid Al Khalifa. He already has been a champion before in this championship, like 10 years back. So a very experienced man who started a career in single-seater. I remember I first met him back in 2005. That was the second time of the Bahrain International F1 Grand Prix. And he was in Formula BMW back then, so a lot of single-seater experience coming from karting. And now he's back racing here in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East. He's back in Team Bahrain in the EDB car, the red and white, national team, I would say, with the national flag on the side. A man who's always very good in his races, I must say.
absolutely.
He scored 2 victories last weekend in the Pro-Am category and also for the GCC.
He also did Formula 3 in the UK, and he was together with Brendan Hartley, and Nick Tandy was also same time in Formula 3 in Great Britain. So you can see he was really competing against the toughest guys in GT and World Endurance Racing.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what he can do now here on track. Car looks very clear. His team and engineer for Team Bahrain around Franz Meyer, very experienced man who had a lot of success in Super Cup with people like René Rast, 3 titles, and Mike Lammermüller, for example. So for sure it's great to have him around here in the Middle East. Well, we see the new rubber is getting ready, the new tires coming out of the Huber Racing pits. That means Georgi Donchev was still on old rubber. Jan Dober is taking the helmet up and smiling, thumbs up. Good lap time with 140.9. All right, 140.9.
So he's fifth.
Yeah, he's much faster than he was in the free practice with a 42.0. Well done by Jan Dober and his team GP Elite. We will have to wait and see where he ends up in the AM category.
That's true, because Mark J. Thomas, who was the benchmark in the AM class so far, he's not on track. So we're waiting for the man from Canada.
It's good to see Jan happy, and it's 13 minutes to go. So yes, he needs to just wait and obviously relax and see where we will end up. At the moment, times are not really dropping, but I expect soon that we see times dropping, and then we need to see that we can catch one of our fastest guys here.
This is Mirabi Mekbabishvili from Bulgaria as well. Huber Racing is also competing in the AM class, so he will try to attack the time of Jan Dober.
I was talking to Christoph earlier today in the paddock, and I said, really well done, really nice design. That's basically the Huber Racing factory design. And so easy also to spot that kind of cars.
And he was faster than Jan Dober. He's on 4th position so far. Did a good lap.
I did a 140.5. with 3 green sectors.
As we still see Wang Zhou in the lead.
So here we have the number 80 car, also a beautiful design, carrying the Canadian flag on top of the roof. Pasha Madini, a man who has been in the championship before. So again, I'm just repeating myself. We're glad to have Pasha back. And yeah, let's see what he can do at the moment. Was warming up tires. Looks like he still is a bit warming up tires, waving left and right, braking. So guys, this will not be a fast lap. If we can focus on one of the cars who is on a fast lap, because I think Pasha Madini will still need 1 more lap to warm up his tires.
But
So
what we can say in terms of championship points, he's just 1 point behind Georgi Donchev. So, as we said, a very, very exciting class, the Pro-Am class. And for sure, Pasha Madini wants the title.
Oh,
now we see a spin.
That's good,
It's
the
your
Benninger.
Austrian man with the car number 56.
yeah, but he did well. The car is on track. He reacted really quickly and was fully on the brakes, so that's important. So the car will not reverse and go into the barrier backwards. So let's see if we can have it. Oh yes, he's losing the rear here. You know, he's accelerating, so there's wheel spin. So he's trying to apply the throttle early, which is good. If you want to have a great lap time, that's what you do. That's what you need to do. Applying the throttle early, but maybe it was a bit too early. So there was wheel spin, and then he lost it on the rear. So it's difficult to control and manage the spinning wheels. And yeah, it was just a bit too much, but great he's trying anyway. So that shows the ambition. That's also why we call our AM category our ambitious category, because these guys, Jan Dober, Mark J. Thomas, Günther Benninger, they're all super ambitious.
Here we see car number 5 from GP Elite, a man from Germany, Søren Spreng, who had a crash in Abu Dhabi in the first race, caused a red flag, but improved and came back stronger on Sunday. With after a grid penalty, he made it to 10th position in the race, and I'm sure he wants to have a decent result here, as he's a very fast man on track.
So who is the fastest man on track right now? I've just seen Harry Jones in the DHL car in the easy to spot yellow and red machine going out. Ariel Levy is on track now. Guylaine Gordel is on track. So Alex Malekin is on track. He also was great in free practice with setting lap times around P4, P5 for his team Pure Racing. He was a winner like 2 weeks in the region. He was a winner of the 6-hour race at Abu Dhabi together with Harry King. So again, congrats and well done by Pure Racing. But we're not racing it, we're still qualifying. And
yeah, we see Harry Jones still warming up the tires.
Yeah.
Behind him it's Ahmed Al-Shihab from Team Kuwait.
Yeah, with 8 minutes on this track, you know, that's plenty of time left to get 2-3 fast rolling laps. So sometimes drivers decide to use 2 laps for warming up the tires and then focus on 2-3 flying laps for maximum performance. So yeah, I think Harry Jones is about to start the fast lap very soon. Still no changes on top, and here we see our championship leader in the 75 car.
Ariel Levy from Israel, I said it already, 22 years old. He's lacking experience in a GT3 Cup car, but he will participate in the German Porsche Carrera Cup this year again. And for sure, a title in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East would help to build up some self-confidence for the upcoming season, especially when you race against a man like him, Harry Jones, because he's the current Porsche Carrera Cup Australia champion. He already won the title there.
So let's see first sector time of Harry Jones. He's on a fast lap, I can already tell by his racing line. He's using the track from left to right, so you see he's taking all side. Yeah, staying within the track limits is important. You see that white line, this defines the track limits. This is where the track is. Sector 1, Can you see it already?
It's purple.
Yeah, it's
Sector
purple.
1 is purple, so absolute quickest man in Sector 1.
Purple always means he's the fastest man out there on track from all the 19 cars in Sector 1. And Sector 2, very technically, a lot of braking, changing direction. You can see him on the steering wheel. It's important to also use the maximum grip for straight line speed.
And another purple Sector 2 for him.
26.5 in Sector 2, yes.
While Ariel Levy is on a personal best Sector 1.
Using a lot of curbs here. I already saw that during testing. Again, now we're in last turn, turn number 12. Again, he's using some of the curb on the inside. Controlling the understeer. No understeer here. I can't see any understeer. Car looks great. And also the lap time.
So we have him on provisional pole position. What we have to mention, because you talked about it, is track limits. Always be careful. Was an issue so far.
Did you see Ahmed Al-Shebab for Team Kuwait? He went to P2. He was very cleverly following what we were talking about Harry Jones. We saw him following, and he managed 38.3, so about 0.3 slower. And now we see Ariel Levy topping the times with a 1:37.9, so like 1/10 of a second faster. And again.
And now it's Ghislain Cordel, the man from Belgium, with a 1:37.944. So it's unbelievably tight again.
Yeah, with 5 minutes remaining. So I would say maximum 3 more laps to go for everyone. It's very tight. So the first 3 drivers like within 0.05 of a second, so less than 1/10 of a second. While we still follow Ariel Levy.
We see purple again for Harry Jones in Sector 2 and purple for Ariel Levy in Sector 1.
Yeah, let's stay with Ariel Levy here and see what he can do. While we have Ghislain Cordel, it's also good to see Ghislain Cordel. Oh, he's smashing that car around. You
He has
can see
a
the car
personal
moving.
best Sector 1, so we see the fight between Cordel, Levy and Jones for pole position here in Dubai. What an exciting qualifying.
Yeah, let's try to stay with the number 2 car here as we already follow him. And Harry Jones now went to the lead again for the Team DHL with a 1:37.641. That's faster than Ariel Levy did go in the last free practice before qualifying. So yes, we see him leading. So he has done his lap time. He has completed his lap time. So Ariel Levy did improve his lap time, but it was not fast enough. So
no, he was fast in Sector 1, but lost in the last sector and also in the second sector.
Which is normally a sign that the tires are, I don't want to say finished, because there's enough rubber and enough of black stuff still on the tire, but the performance is out. And here, let's see if also Ghislain Cordel cannot improve his lap time in Sector 1. So now we see that drivers cannot improve. The top 3, the top 4 are not pulling in any white sectors, but what Ghislain Cordel, I'm sure what he's doing right now, he's trying the tire to relax a little bit. He's trying to keep the heat in the tire, maybe find another gap, and possibly we see one more attempt. Possibly we
The
see him
last
trying
shot,
one
but
more
so
time.
far he's in the first row, and I think this is a very strong result for the man who was on the podium 2 times in Abu Dhabi. And he's ahead of Ariel Levy. Well, we must say Ahmed Al-Shihab, he's on provisional pole in the Pro M class.
Yeah, really good job by the man from Kuwait, because he also is not that experienced. He did a season of German Carrera Cup I remember he came to visit us last year and he was saying, I want to compete here in the Middle East, but unfortunately we had no car available for him. So I'm glad we were talking early for this season, and the team around him with Frank Fonke, also an experienced man, team mechanics.
Yeah, but I remember in Abu Dhabi he could take 3 trophies at home, so that really helped to build up some self-confidence for that weekend here.
Okay.
He won the class in the regional competition, the GCC. Also was on the podium 2 times in the Pro-Am class. We see him ahead of Harry Jones right now.
Harry Jones, our leader, and as I was talking about engineers, I have to say, so far it looks for, don't want to say too early, but yes, it looks like another pole position for Harry Jones as he's entering the pits, and well done to his team and his engineer, Michael Roos, who will also be his engineer in the Porsche Mobile 1 Super Cup, and his team, and Andoni, our mechanic of the year last year. So
we see Saud Al Saud on 10th position overall. And here is the pole setter. It's again the man from Australia, Harry Jones. Congratulations. Very strong result. Ahead of Ghislaine Cordell and Ariel Levy.
And the lap times are really tight. Within, I would say, the top 10 are within 1 second. You know, if you sometimes watch F1, that's not quite the case there. So really tight with Ariel Levy in 3, Ahmed Al-Shebab in 4, Søren Spreng, well done, good result. Søren Spreng in P5, Georgi Donchev in P6, Alex Malikin in P7, Basha Madini in P8. I'm waiting to see Banda Alessei. I'm surprised, maybe he's still on a fast lap here, but
so far he's only on 14th position. That's for sure not what he expected.
Oh, and Banda Alessei with a 1.391. If I compare this to the 1.383 he already has done, so I hope there was no technical issues or problems for him. Yeah, he did only 6 laps. For sure,
we're gonna ask what was going on there. But we see the checkered flag, so qualifying is over. And for sure, we will do some interviews and we'll have some chats with the driver before it's time to go racing this afternoon. 4:30, we said it already, local time, 1:30 in Europe. We will see the Saturday race in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Middle East with Harry Jones on pole position and this man, Khaled Al-Ahmadi. We have said it already. There was a big question mark if he could start here because the team had to rebuild his car after a crash last weekend, and he will be also on the grid and he will be on pole position.
Yeah, well done. And also well done to Merabi Mekvabishvili from Team Huber Racing, his first pole position as far as I remember in the AM category. Just closely ahead of Mark J. Thomas, our leader, Jan Tober in B3 and Günther Benninger. So also very close battle in the AM category. We have all the drivers really nicely together here. And this is very promising for the race. So well done and great to see all cars in one piece. And now it's time for the teams, for the mechanics. After Parc Fermé, of course, you can see on the top of the pole car here, that means Parc Fermé. There's kind of scrutineering and technical checks where no one is allowed to touch the car, no one is allowed to get close or inside the car. But definitely then it's time for the mechanics, for our tire guys, yeah, around Georg Steffny and also his team. Big shout out. It's time to get everything ready again for race number 1 this afternoon here at Dubai Autodrome.
We see Georgi Donchev was entering the pits, the man who's leading the Pro-Am class, who will be starting from 6th overall. So that is the 3rd place in the Pro-Am class. And here we see Banda Alessei. We have to talk with him. What was going on in this qualifying? He's on 10th position, absolutely not where we expected him.
He did improve on the last lap, so he was on a very last lap attempt, I must say, with a 8.6. Yeah, definitely. Let's have a word with him. He went quick already in the free practice. But now I would say that's it from qualifying. Maybe we can have a look at the overall results for everyone. Thanks for following at home, and to all the drivers, take a bit of rest, talk to your teams, analyze a bit of data, and good luck later on in the race. And you will hear Christopher Zöchling as our expert here next to Eric, and I can't wait to be on the grid myself.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Here we see one more time Bandersay, his reaction after qualifying that went not in his direction. But yeah, there's still a race to come. As Robert said, we will be here at about 4 o'clock. And looking forward to seeing you guys again for the race. So thank you so far. See you later.